Right, fight week here in Brisbane. Lewis Crocker, Liam Parro, Benny Damon made some big fight this one.
Yeah, it is a huge fight. To have a legitimate world title fight on Australian soil is always very exciting, and to have such a meaningful and significant belt like this one, the IBF Welterweight Championship of the World, which has been held by so many famous names, and now is contested between a guy who's trying to make history in Liam Parro and a world champion who is defending it for the first time and has changed his trainer and his camp in the lead up to this fight. There's a lot of elements there that make it a fascinating and obviously a really important fight.
What do you make of the back and forth, the demeanour of both guys up there at the press conference today?
Yeah, I would have liked a bit more, to be fair. I was throwing a few things out there, seeing if we get a little bite on some bits and pieces just to create a bit of excitement, a bit of chat. A lot of respect. And there would be a lot of respect, because why wouldn't you respect what Liam Parro's done? He's travelled around the world as a B-side, became a world champion in Puerto Rico, and has done huge things, hasn't he, in global boxing. And Lewis Crocker, like he's fought some really big fights and had a massive fight last time out where he knocked down Paddy Donovan twice in a rematch that he was probably expected to lose, got the decision that night, and has carried himself with a distinction throughout. So I can understand why they are being so respectful, but you can tell in a fight like this, of this magnitude, there's so much meaning. They feel that, and they do convey it in the way that they speak. But yeah, I don't think we're going to get hardcore trash talk or anyone doing anything at the weigh-in tomorrow. We're just going to see a world-class and a really important fight.
One of the, sore points up there for Lewis, though, was that trainer change. His trainer didn't want to sort of let out too much. Lewis is a bit testy in the media scrum just now as well. What are your thoughts on that situation, Ben?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, that you would switch trainers, and I know that they were at pains to say that that Lewis Crocker and H have had a long connection and that they have worked together before, but the situation does remain that he had a different trainer in his corner when he won the world title, and he's made that switch. So clearly something has taken place. You don't switch trainers when you win a world title in normal circumstances, so there has been a decision made for whatever reason. We don't know, because they won't talk about it. It hasn't really been speculated upon. I know there've been comments from his previous trainer online, and there's been all sorts of theories that have been sort of floated, but I wouldn't have a clue what's happened. But it's certainly the sore point with that camp, if people are looking for one, and I'm sure you guys did in the media scrum. That's the one. You can tell there's a change in demeanour when it's mentioned. And I don't know if I recall, I'm sure it has happened a number of times, but I can't recall in recent boxing history where someone has busted up with their trainer or essentially dumped their trainer after winning a world title. Can you remember any?
Top of my head, no.
I can't think of any. There would have been plenty of them in the history of boxing, but nothing that sort of jumps out, and it does make you go, oh, that's interesting to see how he's going to adjust. He's saying all the right things. He said them again to me at the face-off that we recorded last night. He's saying he's more comfortable. He wanted a change. He's saying he was too comfortable before, and he feels better now with the change. Those things may be the case, but something's gone down.
Mate, just a word on how significant this fight is for Liam Parro. Chance to become two-time two-division world champion. This is a massive opportunity for Liam in this one.
Yeah, it's huge. We just saw Andrew Maloney here carrying his IBF world title belt, which he received from the IBF today here in Brisbane. He's going to be at the fight as well. Of course, we saw Jeff Horn win a world title against Manny Pacquiao here. Liam Parro had a big part to play in that as Jeff's main sparring partner, who mimicked Manny Pacquiao for him in the lead up to that fight. To win a world title is enormous, and it changes a boxer's life. To win a second in a second weight division with a legitimate belt like this is history making, but to do it at home, Liam gets all the benefits of the sort of victory that Jeff Horn had, because it's here, it's in front of Australian eyes. He goes from being a really good boxer who people might know and really like to being a star if he wins this world title, because he's at home and because everyone sees it and it becomes a big deal, and he becomes a big deal. So this is a life-changing opportunity for him. If he wins this fight, it'll be bigger for him than the time that he did it the first time around, being in Puerto Rico. He's here at home, surrounded by friends and family and his fans. and he is on a completely different trajectory in a division with a lot of stars. Financially, in terms of his profile, this is just something really, really enormous and huge for Australian boxing as well, because it's a legitimate world title won on Australian soil. For Lewis Crocker, it's the first time he's defending his world title. He's had to come the other side of the world. I know he says that he doesn't mind that, but it is a bit trickier. There are elements that make it more difficult to win on the road, and that's why the bookies have him a decided underdog in betting for this fight. But it is not an easy fight for Liam Parro, but gee, it's an important one. And if he wins, we'll see another level of emotion to what we saw when he beat Subaru Matthias. It'll be the making of him as an athlete in mainstream Australian sport.
Mate, Tszyu Spence, it's coming up quite quickly, mates. Thoughts on that fight and how things are sort of tracking as we get closer to that one?
Yeah, I've spoken with Jeff Fenech and with Tszyu quite a bit in the last little bit, and they're very comfortable. They had a great training camp in Bangkok. It's a very different sounding Tszyu. You interviewed him the other day. Did you get that sense? There's a different feeling to him at the moment. I don't know if I can put my finger on it. Could you?
Confidence, and he's comfortable, more comfortable, Tszyu.
Yeah, and we've seen so many versions of him over the years, and we've been so close to him throughout that period. But that's the thing about Jeff, and I know there's plenty of people who will dispute whether Jeff's the right option for him at this stage. And I'm obviously close with Jeff, but I can't see that he's going to be less driven, less confident, less motivated, or less capable in this fight with Jeff Fenech being in his corner. I think he's going to go to a new level of desire, and I think if this fight gets to a position where he needs motivation, he needs someone in his corner to send him out there and to make him run through brick walls, Jeff's going to do that. He's the guy. He is probably the greatest motivator in the history of Australian coaching in any sport. He learned it from the great Johnny Lewis, and he has it himself now. So I don't know what happens in that fight, because I simply don't know what version of Errol Spence we're getting. I've got no idea. It could be any number of versions of a man who has been a truly phenomenal and obviously a superior and world-class fighter. But he's coming to Australia after this long break with all of the other things that have gone on through his life, and he's taking on a hungry Tszyu, a man who has been beaten badly on a couple of occasions himself, and who we cannot be sure what version we're going to see of him either. So this is just anyone who tries to make a prediction on this fight is guessing, because nobody can possibly know. It is just one of those things where you're going to have to watch it to find out how it goes down, because if you think you know, you simply don't.
Mate, massive card as well. Jamal Charlo, Carl Mazzudia, and Stephen Fulton, Liam Wilson. It's going to be a massive event, Ben.
It is Australia and the US. After what happened in the World Cup the other day, it gets that other element as another opportunity there. Really pleased for Cohen that he gets a big fight against an undefeated superstar in Jamal Charlo. And Stephen Fulton comes to Australian shores, multiple division world champion, to take on Liam Wilson, who arguably should be a former world champion and who has fought for a couple of titles. Really exciting fight. It's going to make a brilliant fight week, a great card, a Sunday afternoon in Sydney as well. It's got all the makings of being, as it is being billed, the greatest card in Australian boxing history, with those names, that level of athlete throughout. So many matchups you're fascinated in, and then it's all capped off with that big fight between Tszyu, who he's had such an incredible and public-facing career. He's had his ups and his downs, and now he's sort of made this unification with the two greatest names in recent Australian boxing history. It's a brilliant card. I'm really looking forward to it, and it's great to see all of those Aussies get their opportunities. Callum Peters will be on that card as well. Good fight between Ahmed Redder and Paul Fleming. That's a headliner on a number of shows right around the country as well. So exciting. We've got this fight straight up into that one. It's going to be a big month or so.
Just one last one for you, picking up on Tszyu. He's had those highs, the lows, the emotional roller coaster we've all been on, the Fondora fight, Buckram, Fondora 2, the wins, the lows. Is this sort of a last chance saloon for Tszyu? Does he have to win this fight against Errol Spence?
Well, I guess maybe because of where he has put himself he does. He's sort of changed everything, hasn't he? Like, he can't make any more changes. You wouldn't think. It'd be a surprise. Maybe he self-trains into another...
He seems to have always bounced back, right?
Yeah, he does, and that's testament to his confidence. I know at times he's thought, and he's made this public, that he's thought about walking away from it all, which is very difficult when your surname's Tszyu. But it would be tricky, you would think, to see him get back to this level if he were to lose this fight. And obviously it depends how you lose. If he gets sparked in a round by Errol Spence, that's especially difficult. If it's a fight of the year, life and death battle, maybe it's a little bit easier. But certainly the path that he's thinking about is winning this fight and then going into a mega fight. And we all know Charlo's the obvious one there, and there's other names that would make perfect sense. But there is an element of, surely this is the one, isn't it? You win this and you're right back to the very top, or you lose this and maybe we've found out that it's time to walk away. But his surname is Tszyu, so there would be a market for him to come back into a number of fights. There's some rematches that he'd like. I'm sure there's domestic showdowns that could be made. But yeah, look, I think he's putting everything into this one, hoping that this is going to be the making of him, and this is going to be the start of what might be a brief but certainly a spectacular chapter.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it, mate.
Thank you.